This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You chose to hit play on this podcast today. Smart choice. Make another smart choice with Auto Quote Explorer to compare rates from multiple car insurance companies all at once. Try it at progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up during inflation, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold! Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See detail.
Hi, this is Farnoosh Torabi, host of the Webby-winning podcast, So Money. If you're aiming for a goal, be it saving for a house, growing your family, or retiring, life makes it difficult to stay the course. But with a dedicated Merrill advisor, you get a personalized plan and a clear path forward. Having the bull at your back helps your whole financial life move with you. So when your plans change, Merrill's with you every step of the way. Go to ml.com/bullish to learn more. Merrill, a Bank of America company. What would you like the power to do? Investing involves risk. Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner & Smith Incorporated, registered broker-dealer, registered investment advisor, member SIPC.
Surviving Sister Wives contains adult content that may not be suitable for Latter-day Saints or sinners. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to Surviving Sister Wives.
I'm Corey.
And I'm Carly. And this is Season 13, Episodes 12 and 13. Tell All, Part 1 and 2. It's a mouthful.
We decided to do the tell-all. We have decided to do the tell-all.
I can't hear it one more time.
It's
I'm so
true.
glad we're done with this season so that you can't sing it anymore.
You think it's over? We're just getting started.
We're usually very anti going back and covering old tell-alls, but this one we thought would be interesting since we know they're on the precipice of the family starting to fall apart. Technically, they would have been filming this at the time that season 14 was being filmed.
Plus, we didn't get a tell-all in season 14, so we just didn't even have one to review anything for. So this kind of counts as the season 14 one, too, because they spoil a bunch of stuff about season 14 in this, too.
Yeah, we'll get to it. We're going to try to, hit the high notes. We're not going to give a real in-depth overview of every single thing that was said throughout these 2 episodes.
Starting with the TLC description for these, because that is, in part 1, the Browns are left reeling as frank discussion leads to new insights and emotional meltdowns. Will the family ever settle down in one location? Did Meri's bed and breakfast further damage her relationship with Kody? And then the second part description was basically just, was Meri's desire to buy the Utah bed and breakfast a way out of the family for good? They just reiterated the last part of the part 1.
I'm sorry, but don't we already know the answer to that?
They left it on a cliffhanger, so technically we didn't know.
But was it her way out? She's still here.
She's in Flagstaff. She made it.
Even the person who wrote the TLC description still thinks Meri's going to move to the B&B.
Even Suchin Pak, who was hosting, had no idea that Meri was still a part of this family. She had been talking to Kody beforehand, probably before the camera started rolling.
Oh, Meri's gone.
She's out of here. She bought that place in Utah, and it's just been trouble ever since. So that's already confusing enough. Let's get the real story, the Carly episode rewrite description.
Robyn makes an executive decision to co-host the tell-all. The family sings the praises of the promised land that is Flagstaff, Arizona. Meri and Kody struggle to keep the non-sexual tension between them hidden.
There is not a hint of sexual tension. Sexual frustration for Meri, but that's not the same thing.
True. Shall we do the announcements?
I'm glad we're doing something.
That was one of those backhanded Meri comments, wasn't it?
Or a Mama Plath, a Barry Plath comment as well, yes.
Well, that's a good segue. If you aren't listening to our other podcast, Surviving Reality, you got to head over there, hit the subscribe button, because we are recapping Welcome to Plathville.
We're up to our eyeballs in Plathville over there. The season is underway. We're in the middle of it, the thick of it.
And we've got other things coming. We're going to be recapping The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives when that comes out in a couple of weeks. And then we're looking at what's coming out in the fall schedules here. And we're going to add something else. So stay tuned.
Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, House of Villains. We got our eye on a couple of different things here.
We shall see.
And if you're liking what you're hearing on this feed, as well as the Surviving Reality feed, head on over to patreon.com/survivingpod, where you can become a member, support the channel. You get access to ad-free episodes, early access.
Bonus episodes, the Let's Talk About It.
And over 200 plus episodes of our Sister Wives archives.
And we did recently make a change over there. So now no matter what day of the month you sign up, that's the date you'll be charged again in the future. It used to be on the first of the month, regardless of what day you signed up. That is no longer the case.
So there used to be the direction to wait until the beginning of a month in order to get the full benefit of signing up that month. Now it's always a good time to sign up for the Patreon. You don't have to worry about it. We'll worry about it for you. Plus, every dollar you pledge makes us just a little bit more successful than my Sister Wives Closet. So that's fun too.
As we all know by now, Sister Wives Season 19 is returning on Sunday, September 15th.
I just set up the Discord event, so we will be watching and sending out the GIFs or the GIFs, depending on however you like to say that.
We did recap the trailer. You got to go back a few episodes in the feed to check that out. And next week, we're going to be talking through the timeline. What was happening? Where did we leave off? What fun, exciting things do we have? Like, I don't know, babies being born who are, almost 2 years old? Isn't their birthday in November?
Pretty much, yeah.
These babies are almost there.
Well, and we've already seen them at Christine's wedding this past January as well. But we just breeze right over that. Don't think about it too much.
And of course, David. That's going to be exciting to meet him all over again.
Wonderful stuff. So that'll be our September 4th episode. And if you're figuring this out, we're backing into the dates. There's one more Wednesday before the new season comes out. Got something special planned for that one, too.
We are going to be doing a crossover episode with Ace and Caitlin of Love Should Be Multiplied, Not Divided, and the Shit Talk podcast.
So stay tuned for that. We'll have more details on what that's going to cover. I feel like it's just going to be a whole overarching conversation.
No idea what direction the conversation will go.
So we'll have to see how that plays out, and we'll see where that ends up.
The possibilities are endless. Should we jump in? I have named each of these sections according to what I think it was actually about.
Okay, yeah.
The first one is Flagstaff, a forever home? Giant question mark?
Big old question mark. I feel like there's a question mark at the end of every single segment here.
That's actually
pretty much.
Pretty accurate.
They have no idea. Nobody knows what's going on. And we're not really getting direct answers from the family either. It's not helping.
We have another new host, Suchin. Where did she come from?
I don't think she's ever seen the show. She's seen clips.
This is why the Sister Wives tell-alls sucked for so long. We needed a consistent host who was familiar with the story over time and would hold them more accountable.
We needed Nancy. At one point,
I don't think Nancy does that good a job of holding them accountable.
No, well, she tries. But I think there was mention of Nancy at one point, which I think I jotted down in my notes. Is that the reason why the family fell apart? Because they moved away and they stopped going to see Nancy. Is she the key that was holding all of this together?
Nancy was the glue?
Must have been.
Don't think so. Suchin is wearing the most confusing shirt that I've ever seen. I got to tell you, I spent a lot of time looking at it. We watched these multiple times.
Is it just like the Saved by the Bell shapes?
Okay, that was part of it. I actually liked that part of the shirt, though.
Okay.
The thing that was confusing was the colors didn't coordinate to whatever was around her neck. I could not tell if that was attached, if that was another part of the shirt, or if that was a whole separate thing. Was that another shirt she was wearing under the shirt that was not any of the colors that coordinated to the other one? Is it a necklace? I spent a lot of time thinking about it.
You got to check your neck. We already know that.
At least so it means I was looking at her and not anyone else, because we didn't have any Geico makeup going on here.
Geico Caveman.
Yes.
And, it was like Paul Bearer makeup from... You don't know who that is. That's okay. This is a wrestling reference.
Okay, I thought you were talking about like a pallbearer for
You'd be surprised. That's where he got his name, because he was actually the manager for The Undertaker, Carly. Way back in the day. You're going to learn a thing or two.
Great.
I'll show you some videos after this, okay?
No, thank you.
Undertaker. That's my pallbearer. That's enough. Okay.
I got to find my place in my notes now. Okay.
I didn't mean to shake you up that bad. I'm sorry.
This is the first ever tell-all being held in Flagstaff, Arizona. That's how we open things.
First and only. Well, not only. It almost was the only one.
Isn't it the only one where they've all sat together?
The only one in Arizona that they all sat together. Yes.
So it kind of was like the first and last.
The last.
We got to know, what is everyone thinking about living here? And the first voice to speak up about how fabulous Flagstaff, Arizona has been is none other than Christine Brown.
Christine is a real big fan of Flagstaff, Arizona.
She'll probably never leave.
She loves it here, loves the trees, loves the weather.
Loves the people.
The people are so nice.
Sue Chin wants to know, she's trying to start some shit right off the jump because she knows this has been a big discussion point in the family. Is this going to be your final destination?
Well, that's ominous. Well, I mean, Robyn was talking about burying her bones here, but I think we should be worried about where Kody's burying his bone here. That's the real question.
I think we know.
I think we do know, unfortunately.
Is this the beginning of Kody and his personality really devolving into a dark space? Because they're listing off all of the different places that they've moved. He's never seen that footage. And all the wives are giggling about how funny it is. And he is just staring off into space.
It's a betrayal.
That's true. That's true. Because they're making fun of his leadership. Every move that they've made has been justified in his eyes.
And we've heard his excuse before, but we get it again where his whole life was uprooted when he turned 22 and he no longer had a home because he didn't have the LDS community that he was a part of anymore, as his parents went and lived polygamy, and then he ultimately decided to live polygamy as well. So
he has a real narrative in his head that he has been cast out from all of these places that he's wanted to be.
Because he always said that too. He doesn't have a home because he didn't marry someone from his hometown. I think that was an excuse that he's given at some point too in the show.
Yeah, he did say that.
Those are direct
Doesn't mean
quotes.
It's true. He said it.
No, yeah, those are direct quotes, but yeah, it's not accurate at all. This whole segment it felt like a monogamous couple having an argument with a room full of innocent bystanders.
That's true. Between Kody and Robyn.
It was Kody and Robyn having the argument because Robyn wanted him to promise her that they would never move out of Flagstaff, and Kody couldn't give that promise. I kind of understand where Robyn was coming from because Kody wasn't committing to anything. Nobody was. But also, I kind of understand what Kody was trying to say too. And Robyn wasn't able to let that sink in completely either, because I think Cody's idea was that when they lived in Utah, they had no intentions of moving. And then due to forces that were out of their control, they had to... Well,
maybe out of their control.
Allegedly, that they had to move out of Utah. So he doesn't want to promise that they'll never move away from Flagstaff when he doesn't know if there could be a circumstance that would make them need to move from Flagstaff.
It's a fair argument that when you have a lifestyle where you're living on the fringes of society, just waiting to see if the government, wherever you are, the police department, is going to decide to come after you for what you're doing, you maybe never know if you're permanently settled. Although I guess they really took care of that issue. It's kind of irrelevant now.
It's risky being an outlaw in so many different states that are the least favorable states in the union, particularly.
What I didn't like about this was Kody saying he doesn't want to make a promise to Robyn that he can't keep because Robyn holds him to the promises that he makes. And I just thought that was shitty to say in front of every other one of your wives who you've repeatedly broken promises to.
Particularly Meri, who you're actively breaking promises to, and Christine as well, because at one point, Kody says something really rich where he's talking about how you can never see your little kids enough. And he's sitting between Robyn and Christine on their couch. And Christine laughs at that point because she's like, do you not realize that Truly is one of your little kids still?
No, he forgets about her sometimes.
He always forgets. Because, of course, he was talking about Robyn's kids, not Christine's kids. I think the funniest part of this segment, though, is that nobody is able to give Robyn this long-term commitment to Flagstaff that she's desperately seeking here. But it's not because they're not sure if they're going to live in Flagstaff. I think it's because there's so many people who aren't sure if they're even wanting to stay in this family anymore.
Bingo. I think there are a lot of unhappy people here who aren't really sure what the next 5, 10, 15 years look like.
And we know what Janelle's view on the first 5, 10, 20 years of polygamy was. So we don't know what the next 5, 10, 20 years is going to look like.
I love that got brought up. We'll get to it.
It was so good. But before that, we have to talk about the catfish, of course.
But do we?
We really don't.
We had an entire tell-all dedicated to the catfishing, but we're talking about it still. I guess it did come up in this season because Meri forced that conversation with Leon and whatever random other person got catfished again.
It was the backup friend.
We're over it. Yeah, what was her name? Leslie? I made that up.
That's a good guess.
100%.
It's a solid guess. I like it.
Why don't they ever bring on guests for a tell-all?
Well, they kind of do. They bring the kids on.
No, I want to bring on the swaths of people who have been catfished by the same person as Meri.
You know what? Thank God they don't, because I think the only questions that they would have time to ask them would be, what do you think about them living polygamy? Are you okay with that? Because that's the same note card that they pull out for every single interview anytime they talk to anybody outside the family.
Ryan Reynolds here for, I guess, my 100th Mint commercial. No, don't. I mean, honestly, when I started this, I thought I only have to do like 4 of these. I mean, it's unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month. How are there still people paying 2 or 3 times that much? I'm sorry, I shouldn't be victim blaming here. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch. Whenever you're ready.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.
It took a lifetime to find the person you want to marry. Finding the perfect engagement ring is a lot easier. At BlueNile.com, you can find or design the ring you've always dreamed of with help from Blue Nile's jewelry experts who are on hand 24/7 to answer questions, and the ease and convenience of shopping online. For a limited time, get $50 off your purchase of $500 or more with code LISTEN at BlueNile.com. That's $50 off with code LISTEN at BlueNile.com.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary, not available in all states or situations.
This is a mini meditation guided by Bombas. Repeat after me. I'm comfy. I'm cozy. I have 0 blisters on my toes. And that's because I wear Bombas, the softest socks, underwear, and T-shirts that give back. 1 purchased equals 1 donated. Now go to bombas.com/ACAST and use code ACAST for 20% off your first purchase. That's BOMBAS.com/ACAST and use code ACAST at checkout.
What makes a great pair of glasses? At Warby Parker, it's all the invisible extras without the extra cost. Their designer quality frames start at $95, including prescription lenses, plus scratch-resistant, smudge-resistant, and anti-reflective coatings, and UV protection, and free adjustments for life. To find your next pair of glasses, sunglasses, or contact lenses, or to find the Warby Parker store nearest you, head over to warbyparker.com. That's warbyparker.com.
The biggest revelation in this section was that Meri was basically agoraphobic after she got catfished. She was afraid to leave her house. She didn't feel safe in public.
Which is why she was so excited about this move to Flagstaff, too. We're leaving all that bad energy behind in that big, spooky Vegas house. We're getting out of there. We're starting new, starting fresh, bigger, better, brighter things ahead in Flagstaff for Kody and Meri. In her mind.
I was going to say, that's the story they're telling themselves.
That's what I think that's the story that Meri wants to believe is happening, and Kody's kind of letting her run with that idea by herself.
I got really uncomfortable when they rolled the tape on Meri and Kody's visit to Flagstaff. First of all, the way they introed it about them going on a trip, for a second I thought, what? They didn't go on a trip this season.
When Suchin said the quality time that they spent on their trip to see the land. And I said, excuse me? When did this happen? Did I miss an episode?
It's because it was not a bonding experience. They just argued the entire time.
It was terrible.
There is some awkward silence when the footage ends. I don't know, did Suchin and the producers of the tell-all not understand that they weren't getting along in that footage?
I don't think that they picked up on that at all. They saw it as, oh, they're reconnecting here, and look how cute they are. Suchin was commending Meri. It's amazing how much you're trying to stay together. I don't think that's good. It is
amazing.
It is amazing, but it's not good.
No, it really causes you to wonder, how does one person have so much resilience in the face of adversity like this?
To say that it's amazing how you're trying to stay together, it's not, though. This is really bad, and it's terrible for both of you in different ways.
Kody starts answering a question, and I know I pointed this out to you and you hadn't seen it, but Meri starts to breathe really fast in a panicked way.
Maybe she's having a panic attack.
I'm sure she's wondering, where is this word salad going to go of Kody talking about their relationship? Because she's probably never heard this, because he likes to do that. The only time he'll actually talk about their relationship is when there's a camera around.
Then he gets real chatty. Yeah, but he's mostly just patting himself on the back about keeping this commitment. They made a commitment to marry each other, and that's what he is dedicated to. It kind of pulls it into perspective, because then from that angle, you're basically saying you don't care about Meri. You only care about this institution of marriage that you have in your mind and your ego that's attached to having a successful marriage.
He's over Meri. He has been over her since, I don't know, 6 months into their marriage.
You really need to respect someone and have someone respect you in order to be in a relationship. I'd say that that's a fundamental thing that needs to happen.
Did he say something about how they're starting to date again? Because the line of the episode for me was Meri looking Kody dead in the eye and saying, I look forward to that, because it hasn't been happening. That was the subtext of that comment.
Meri said bet. Because she wants to hold you to it. Robyn got to chime in on this, of course, too. I thought it was pretty impressive when she was saying stuff to Meri like, I can't do this family without you. Is there some foreshadowing there for season 19?
She said, I have told this to Meri many times. I can't do this family without you.
So if Mary's not there now, is Robyn going to be able to hold it together, flying solo?
I was so very present during the catfishing, was how she started talking about this. Man, she has been keeping Meri stuck in this family for a really long time. That is just such a twisted thing to say to someone. You can't leave because I won't be able to make it here without you. And then she repeated it in front of Christine and Janelle. And I just want to point out that Christine and Janelle have done much less like blatantly obvious things to be quote unquote bad sister wives to Robyn and gotten chewed out for it. But she's making it very obvious that her relationships with Christine and Janelle, she couldn't be a sister wife functioning in this family if she didn't have Meri on her side. And we don't say anything about that.
We already know Christine's opinion. Robyn hasn't lived polygamy. Never has. Don't think she ever will.
These two are making progress, though. Kody and Meri, they went out to dinner the other night, probably because Kody knew he was going to get asked about it at the tell-all, so he had to make sure that he had something recent to talk about.
Robyn reminded him, hey, you should probably mark that off the to-do list.
That, or do you think they got their story together?
Maybe that's it, yeah, of where they're at and what they're looking for.
Mm-hmm. What are we going to say?
I think the most fucked up part about that story was when Meri was saying that Kody called her and asked if she wanted to go to dinner, and she was super busy, was all booked up, but she still said yes and had to pull an all-nighter working on stuff after that. And it was met with an, aww, adorable type reaction, which that's pretty fucked up. Yeah. I don't think that that's anything admirable.
No, I didn't like that she had to drop everything that she was doing to accommodate him, because if she had said no, this opportunity would fly by and who knows when the next one would come.
It's always been an excuse for Kody. Anything that Meri does is just reason for him to continue leaving her alone. From the day he was able to get her to say, I need you out of my house, I need you out of my life.
She didn't say that. She said they were on a break.
Well, he had told her he wouldn't cross a burning bridge for her.
Okay, I gotta say that was worse.
So
I think you deserve to get kicked out of her house after that. Also, was the catfish wrong by telling her that Kody was not a great person?
Fed me all of these lies about Kody being a terrible husband. And then were those prophecies, though? Maybe.
Maybe there wasn't so much manipulation going on there. Anyway, that's where we're going to leave them. They are dating. They've been on one date.
They're having dates.
Go on dates.
Have dates.
See, that didn't work out. They tried it. She's annoyed. Did you see how mad Meri was every time they referred to the fact that they were like a newly dating couple?
Well, you're just constantly demoting her, and they're trying to make it sound like it's fun and it's good. And I don't know. As a host, I probably would have been like, do we think that that's a good thing to have someone that you're in a 30-year relationship with and now you're treating it like you've just met them for the first time ever? I don't know if that's an improvement. But now the teens are here, plus Maddie and Hunter, because they're not teens anymore. They're adult children, but they're joining most of the teens.
This section was really hard to watch. Really, the only thing that I took away from it was when we finally got to Gabe and talking about how hard it was for him to leave Vegas, because all the kids just talk about, oh, it's great. Flagstaff's great. The boys are cute. This is so much fun. People are nice. And then Gabe's like, yeah, my parents basically ruined my entire life by moving here, but I'm adapting.
Aurora seemed pretty comfortable speaking up about how great Flagstaff is. And I feel like her experience is a little bit different. Maybe.
I would say so.
A little bit. So I don't know if that's a fair assessment. I thought it was interesting, though, to see Aurora jumping in and kind of driving some of that commentary.
Being the Robyn of this couch?
Very much like Robyn has been doing in this. For the whole first segment, it was her and Kody arguing about stuff.
Well, she doesn't like negative feelings, so we're going to try to not talk about that stuff.
But Gabe has a lot of negative feelings that he needs to talk about. Luckily, Hunter was there. He could kind of guide him through that process because we know Hunter was terrible with the Vegas move. We all remember. Janelle remembers.
Never forget, Janelle. I just thought this was really sad, just thinking about like how they talked about how important the sibling relationship is at the end, and seeing that Gabe really leaned on one of his brothers to support him through this time when he didn't have that kind of support from his parents. And it made me sad.
The other standout part was when Maddie was talking about how it is harder that they all live separately, but it makes them more intentional about getting together and focusing on those sibling relationships that they try to
That was
have.
also a very Janelle answer.
It's the same thing that Janelle says in a future segment.
Janelle was like, yeah, we have to be more intentional about getting together now. We're not just like across the cul-de-sac from each other.
It was word for word, the exact same answer that Janelle gave.
So actually we're at this point where they talk about how they're going to maintain the family culture with the adults. And Christine's talking about how they go days without seeing each other, and that's been so hard. But I thought that was strange because we've heard the same thing about the cul-de-sac, that even when they were living literally next to each other, they went days without seeing them.
Yeah, Janelle used that as an example where there's days where she sees people out in the cul-de-sac, sees them, but doesn't interact with them or communicate with them.
Not seeing each other is making a big difference, like visually making contact.
I guess it's harder for some people, I suppose.
I felt one with Janelle when she said, sometimes at the end of the day, I'm tired and I don't want to go anywhere. So it's kind of hard to get together. Introverts unite.
You could probably plan out, a dinner, a weekly meal that could happen where everybody gets together. But it seems like everybody has a different schedule.
Remember they used to have that Friday nights. Then Robyn ruined it when she joined the family.
Date nights. It's Robyn and Kody date nights now, so too bad. We got a weird curse word compilation.
Yeah, it was just like Kody and just
a lot of these segments.
A lot of flocking instead of,
Yeah.
It was like they were in the good place.
Right. And the segments were very forced, and maybe they were fun for the editors to put together, but it wasn't.
You're even questioning that.
It wasn't fun to talk about.
There was really nothing to watch.
Well, yeah. Well, for some of them.
Weren't there. It wasn't substantive. Supplement? It didn't have a whole lot of substance. That's what I was
Okay.
going for. And that's what a tell-all is. We need to learn something new. We need to have something resolved. You know, we're not doing anything interesting by watching a montage of people mortified that they've used a minor curse word.
The real hard-hitting questions for Kody. Are you or are you not a poo-poo head?
Yeah, I literally didn't take notes on that.
That's okay.
That entire thing.
There wasn't anything to take notes on. That was it. There was a curse word compilation and a joking question that was ignored, and we just moved on. Now we get to the Lizzie's Heritage Inn part of the show.
I've named this section, Let's All Shit on Meri.
That is a great summary of what happens next here, because we know season 13 was the entire family gaslighting Meri.
Constantly.
Stomping her down, trying to squash her down into this box of what they expect Meri to be.
Just be the miserable person that we expect.
We need an Eeyore in the group. That's you, Meri. It always has been. Please pick up that mantle and continue with that.
She's shitty right off the bat because there was a comment about her being selfish by wanting to get the B&B.
Well, you know, like when they were showing the clips of her talking about wanting the B&B or at different stages in the process, Meri's reactions to the clips, of watching the clips, she's beaming. She's so happy. She's thinking back on this. This was such an accomplishment for her, and she did it despite the family. They did not aid and assist in this process at all.
They tried to derail it the entire time.
They were bigger hurdles than she had to face financially.
I do agree with her when she said it was a dream that I worked really, really hard for. She paid for the whole thing.
The fact that Kody was still trying to say that it always seemed like a bad investment to him, and that's why he wasn't on board with it, yet his entire intention for giving Meri money was so that he could become an equity partner in the business.
So he can make money off of it.
Doesn't make any sense.
No, I mean, other things that don't make sense. Remember where he briefly in the season said he was really proud of her for having done this?
When he cut the ribbon on the opening ceremony?
Right, when he took credit for being part of this. He didn't say anything like that in this segment. Instead, he said, I'm glad she got it, but I have a bigger picture that I have to deal with.
I can appreciate now, in hindsight, that this was something that Meri did.
That she did.
She did.
It's not even like, wow, I'm just amazed still that she was able to accomplish this, and seeing her work ethic and how happy and proud she is of what she's doing every day. No. Just defending his own behavior, that he wasn't able to support her because he has to think about the big picture and everybody else. $40,000 he couldn't let her borrow, but we paid $820,000 for a Coyote Pass.
You should have waited until spring when the TLC checks came in, Meri.
He did tell her that.
That's when we were going to have the funds here again. But instead, they decided to berate her and claim that they helped.
This got worse because we revisited all of that. That's how we started things off. But then he makes a comment about how it was suspicious. It didn't pass his sniff test. It seemed like something was up.
I think there was a question that flipped Kody into this negative space. And it was when Suchin asked Meri, this seemed like a divisive sort of storyline here for you when your family was telling you, hey, we can't help with this, but then you decided to go and do this anyway because it was so important to you. If your family had been telling you, hey, this is tearing the family apart, it's going to destroy the family, it's going to ruin things, would you still have done it? And Meri was like, yeah, this was important enough. So I think that answer scared the hell out of Kody.
Okay, I think that's kind of an unfair way to position this.
Right. Of like a this or that sort of thing. Because that was not the scenario. But to pose that as a hypothetical of, oh, would you have chosen this Lizzie's Heritage Inn purchase over your relationship with the family had it got to that? And Meri's like, of course I would have.
Well, but that was the setup for then the premise that she was going to move into the B&B, that this was her escape plan. And that's where this confrontation between Kody and Meri starts.
Kody still thought that Meri was moving into the B&B in Utah. He knows now that that's where her mom lives, and Meri lives in Flagstaff with them. He knows that.
Sorry, at this point in time, because we know when we get to season 18, he's still confused about that.
Yeah, he's trying to play like he doesn't know in a couple of seasons. But right now we're establishing that Kody has learned this information. Whether or not he's going to retain it after this conversation, that's up for debate.
He thought that she was going to leave. He thought it was a bad investment. He's just really piling it on here. And Meri's pissed because she knows she made it very clear by telling them 1,000,001 times that she was not going to be leaving the family. She had no intention of moving to Parowan and living in this B&B full time. And then we had Robyn jump in.
That was the part that got me, because it's not just Kody. It's Robyn had to jump in and back up everything that Kody was saying. Well, Meri, why wouldn't we think that you're moving to Utah? You were buying a house when we were in the process of moving to Flagstaff. We thought you were 1 foot out the door, ready to go. It's just amazing how everybody else in the family realized that Meri needed to leave before Meri realized this.
I still say that Kody was hoping that was what was going to happen.
Of course it was. Yeah, that would be the easiest fix for him, honestly.
It was wishful thinking. It wasn't anything that she did on her part to make him think that that was going to happen.
So it was more gaslighting, though, from Kody and Robyn telling Meri, well, why wouldn't we think that? Based on your actions, we knew what your intentions were behind everything that you were saying. We couldn't believe the words that you were telling us. That wasn't how you really felt. You were acting shady.
Well, let's talk about another terribly painful memory for Meri.
Yeah, we're not done with this. So we are just opening up the Confronting Meri section.
Yes, roll the tape on Confronting Meri parts 1 and 2. So remember, that was the confrontation in the library.
The season finale episode from season 12.
Where Christine told Meri that she basically sucks all the positive energy out of the room, the heaviness that she brings with her. And then part 2, which was where Christine came over to her house in season 13, and they kind of talked it out because that must have aired. They saw it, and it opened the can of worms again, and nothing's really come of it. That's really what we're learning here.
We're still working at it, right? We got some good momentum going. First, it was Christine in the library with a knife, and now it's Meri in the loft with a wrench. Probably. She's throwing a wrench into things.
I was hoping you were going to say a candlestick.
Oh, candlestick would have been good too.
Personal favorite.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I thought Christine actually said that it's not good. Not good yet.
Still working at it. Still figuring out how to work at it.
Ideally, we're going to do that by not having to interact with one another.
If we could limit our exposure to each other, that would really help things along, I think. Meri's main thing here is that she was realizing she's the only person who's willing to work on things. So she's the one who's constantly working on things with everyone. So she feels like she's the common denominator. She's everything that's wrong with the family. No, you just kind of take on that scapegoat role because you are willing to work on things, because your only way to get favor back with Kody is by fixing all of your other relationships. That's how he set it up.
Correct. And that's what he's going to do again with the other sister wives. He ends up doing that with Christine, that you have to work it out with your other sister wives for me to come over here again.
Not just the other sister wives.
The kids.
Everyone.
Literally
every
everyone.
single person in the family. You need to have a perfect relationship with everyone else in order to earn my favor.
Well, and it's sickening to think that that's a part of his playbook, is to make you feel like everyone else in the family has a problem with you and dislikes you. And Meri has so internalized that because she's been told that for so long that she believes that must be the case. I didn't love that she said she thinks her biggest personality issue is that she's either all in or all out. I was like, maybe we need a little more self-reflection.
Well, maybe that is accurate because she stayed all in way too long. And then she was all out very quickly once she realized. But man, it took way too long. You missed the boat.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up during inflation, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes per detail.
It took a lifetime to find the person you want to marry. Finding the perfect engagement ring is a lot easier. At BlueNile.com, you can find or design the ring you've always dreamed of with help from Blue Nile's jewelry experts who are on hand 24/7 to answer questions, and the ease and convenience of shopping online. For a limited time, get $50 off your purchase of $500 or more with code LISTEN at BlueNile.com. That's $50 off with code LISTEN at BlueNile.com.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states or situations.
Hi, this is Jonathan Fields, host of The Good Life Project, where each week I talk to listeners about investing in their future by increasing their own vitality. But when it comes to those financial goals, whether it be saving for a home renovation, growing your child's college fund, or travel, life can make it difficult to stay the course. By working with a dedicated Merrill advisor, you get a personalized plan and a clear path forward. Having the bull at your back helps your whole financial life move with you. So when your plans change, Merrill's with you every step of the way. Go to ml.com/bullish to learn more. Merrill, a Bank of America company. What would you like the power to do? Investing involves risk. Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner & Smith Incorporated, registered broker-dealer, registered investment advisor, member SIPC.
Cue the fireplace and your favorite fall movie. There's nothing better than a cozy evening at home with a glass of First Leaf wine. First Leaf is a personalized wine club that delivers right to your door. Sounds magical, right? They get to know your favorite tasting notes, which varietals you enjoy, and whether you prefer sweet or dry wines. So in every shipment, you get bottles tailored to your unique palate. Go to tryfirstleaf.com/fall to get your first 6 wines for just $44.95 with free shipping.
I don't know about a Robyn word salad at this point.
I just liked that this shows that Robyn watches the show.
Oh.
She felt very voyeuristic in listening in on these conversations when she sees these conversations come up on the show. It feels like I'm nosing in on something that's not my business.
It's not, bitch.
It ain't. And button it up.
No, but she wants to be part of it. Just like she has gotten into Christine's business. I guess only when Kody's involved. That's when she inserts herself into things, huh?
Well, when she was talking about that, it feels like I'm nosing in on someone else's business. When has that ever stopped you?
Okay, the word salad that I was thinking of, she was talking about how she knows what it's like to have a bad conversation with a sister wife where there ends up being no real resolution. That was my very well-packaged delivery of what I think she was trying to communicate.
I have notes for, I don't know what else she was talking about, because I have something that says, Robyn wishes she could teach the world to stop empowering the wives to be individuals, which only encourages them to leave the family.
Yes, that was another rant she had about how people root for them when they do things on their own, and she doesn't like that.
Yeah, because it's taken away her top earners. She's really scared now.
The whole thing about like having bad conversations with a sister wife. Did you see Janelle? Janelle just looked down at the floor. She knew it was her.
Well, Robyn's definitely terrified of communicating with Janelle.
As she should be.
Because Janelle speaks the truth, and that is very scary to Robyn.
The truth, like the fact that the first, 5, 10, 20 years of plural marriage, they aren't going to be really great.
Might be a little rough. Yeah, a little bit rough, like the plural marriage section that we landed in here, because we had to go through a whole clip thing about Aspen, whether she was going to live plural marriage or not. I felt my soul leave my body.
I skipped over all of that.
Good Lord. But then it gets into the whole thing about how the wives need to court new potential suitors. It's weird when a husband does it.
You took a lot of notes.
It's just, this is what gets us into. Robyn was laughing at Janelle's assessment of that clip where it was the first 10, 20 years of plural marriage. It's pretty miserable.
So don't say no one ever told you, Robyn.
Well, she thought it was funny because that hasn't been her experience. It's been pretty great, actually.
Meri was like, so how's the last 5 years been?
Growing and learning. It's a process.
She thought she was doing something funny there because Janelle's been married like 25 or 26 years at this point. So she's gotten beyond that 20. She could probably say 25 years. She would add that 5, 10, 20, 25. They're not going to be really great. Meri
They're still
knows.
bad. Well, yeah, when you marry the wrong person, it's always bad.
That was a direct quote from Kody Brown.
For the first part, at least, yeah.
He didn't find that very funny. Janelle's insight.
Oh, yes.
What do you think? Do you think that I think that Cody's listening to the podcast?
Right now, while we record it,
No.
yes. Yes, I thought that. I thought the
We have a
catfish...
live studio audience.
Yeah, I thought the catfish had installed an app on my phone and was listening.
Well, before we move off this section, I guess I did have one note related to Aspen and Mitch, which was the very staged scene where Mitch shows Christine their marriage license. His and Aspen's, not his and Christine's.
Oh, yeah.
Although Christine would have really enjoyed that because she really, really, really wants a marriage license.
She's willing to do just about anything to get her hands on a marriage license. Do you think she actually wants the marriage license, or does she just want, maybe some health benefits that go along with that, or
nothing to snub your nose at.
legal claim on pretty much anything that she could?
Robyn instantly takes offense anytime anyone brings up anything related to a legal marriage. So right away she has to say, I don't even know where mine is. Couldn't tell you.
It's just a piece of paper. It doesn't mean nothing to me. I can't even find it. I lost it in the move.
Okay. That's not true. That's not true. You need your marriage license. Sometimes you get asked for it.
Like when you're getting divorced?
Well, particularly then.
Oh, yes. Very much so. But see, Meri and Janelle, because Janelle knows about divorce too, sometimes we forget. There's a negative connotation to divorce. We don't like that. But they see it as a positive. Meri's divorce papers, it's just like a love contract. It's evidence of Meri's love for the family because it allowed Robyn and Kody to adopt her kids, probably in a way that they didn't actually need to do that.
We're still going with that story. We're sticking with it.
I still don't think that a legal marriage is required to legally adopt some kids.
The kids are back. We've got the adult kids on the couch again. Well, a different set of kids, mostly, because we've still got Maddie and Caleb. They returned.
Well, Caleb wasn't on the original one, so I think you're getting a little mixed up here. We got like the adult couples. It's Maddie and Caleb, Leon and Audrey, Aspen and Mitch, McKelty and Tony.
You explained that much better than I did.
There you go. There was no Logan, so that's where I'm still bummed.
No Daddy Logan.
We needed Papa's input.
He wasn't here to keep this move together. It was complete chaos. The only thing that I really took away from this section, aside from the fact that they completely spoiled Audrey and Leon's engagement and the fact that Maddie's pregnant with Evie. So thanks. That's really giving us a lot to look forward to for the next season.
Double whammy.
And in a season that was so boring too, season 14, you took away like the exciting moments and just told them to us right here.
That was it. Yeah.
The catfishing, we have to talk about that. We got through the section talking about some other general chit chat.
It was Aspen and Mitch's wedding. You keep skipping over everything.
Because I am over it.
I know. But
you
it was
remember?
I know. It was the sigh. But that was the sigh that Leon gave as soon as they brought up the catfish.
Yes. Leon thought that they were getting away with not having to talk about this anymore. And Suchin was like, hold on.
Wait a minute.
Don't get up yet. I have a few more questions.
Yeah, where are we at with this? Between you and Meri, where's that?
I almost don't even want to talk about it just because Leon made it pretty clear that they were done addressing it. But here we are again. Things still aren't perfect between Leon and Meri. They're getting better. Didn't really need to meet her friend.
I didn't like the example that Leon gave where there was a time in Leon's childhood where they heard Meri and Kody were fighting and they got scared and Leon was confiding in Meri, worried that, oh no, my parents are fighting. They're going to get a divorce. If we didn't love each other, we wouldn't be fighting, which doesn't feel
maybe not the healthiest thing.
It's not like a constructive viewpoint to have. I kind of understand the sentiment of saying if we didn't care about the relationship, we wouldn't have arguments.
Well, one problem, I think one of them didn't care about the relationship anymore at that point.
And they were still arguing. So I don't
think we poked a hole in that.
Yeah, I don't think that lines up with that theory.
Suchin hit the nail on the head, and you could tell because Leon let out a big old sigh before answering this question because Suchin had said something about taking responsibility. And that has really been the crux of the problem here for Leon. Meri has not taken responsibility for her part in the catfishing.
I don't know if at some point, so like that answer was kind of a whisked through answer that Leon gave. And then did we just shut down and say no more questions after that? Because that just ended this segment. And it was like almost a mid-sentence sort of cutaway that happened there, where it was just very briskly moving on to the next thing now. Because I feel like Leon was saying some stuff about their perception of this too, of that's something that happened in the past. I've learned from it and let's move on. Meaning, stop asking me about the catfishing. Let's move on.
Well, it's annoying to have made it clear repeatedly to both your parent and the production crew that you have no interest in continuing to talk about this. And they have now dragged it out for 3 seasons?
Something like that, yeah.
Like, enough.
Which is why people get confused about how long that relationship was that Meri had with the catfish. It was only a couple of months, guys. Like, it wasn't that long. It was just dragged out and talked about on the show for a very long period of time. So if Leon doesn't want to talk about that stuff, if we're getting shut down on some of those questions, let's shift gears. It's going to be going into the engagement announcement. We got to hear about how it was all at the Women's March. I really wish that they would have saved it for the Polygamous March. Instead, though, I feel like it would have been better. We would have had a little bit more energy for that. We were supposed to be saving that. I'm sure that's what Kody told them.
I know, you're spoiling season 14. Was that season 14?
I feel like that happened.
No, that was
before
like, that was the other
That
march.
was the Joe Darger March.
There's been a lot of marches.
Couple
on
few.
This show.
A couple few.
We're back with the adults on the couch, wrapping things up here. The last section I have is therapy talk.
We did get a therapy speak supercut, and that was where it was the "Are we stuffing it?" line came up. So that was the refresher for that.
I have to tell you, I don't think I've ever heard them say that.
I blocked it out. Well, it was when they were talking about stuffing their emotions, and then Meri said, "Well, what, are we stuffing it?"
Someone's stuffing something in this family.
Mary's really hoping that
one of them.
Somebody's getting to stuffing.
Yeah, they just said a lot of words. Obviously, we've heard a million times from Meri, putting her walls up, guarded. This conversation's not safe for me.
We get to hear about how miraculous it is, the advancements in professional support that they have available to them, because they used to be so afraid of going to family therapists or anything like that, because from a professional standpoint, the opinion would always be, well, polygamy is your problem, but now therapists are more open to supporting them and talking about that. Great. It's cringe to watch all this stuff back, though.
It was super cringy. I didn't love that they were talking about it. Like, this was such a positive thing that they were incorporating this language into their daily lives, because a lot of times I feel like they weaponize therapy language.
You're just using that word because I said it first. The gaslighting. You're just using that because I said it.
It just seems like they don't really make progress communicating with one another using the things that they've learned from therapy.
It's the same issues that we have with Worthy Up. There's a lack of honesty and
authenticity.
Well, it becomes authenticity too, because the honesty and transparency isn't there. So then it comes off as inauthentic. And then what else did we sum up with? Kody's dance moves, which was a Nightmare Fuel remix that they made, a dance beat out of clips from the show for Kody to dance to in the clips. So this is, I don't know what circle of hell this was, but we're getting close.
We've gotten so used to people making like song remixes on TikTok that this was really, really, really bad.
Yeah, this was pre-AI, so this was all hard cuts. There wasn't really a lot of meshing that was going on with it.
No, whoever made this was not very talented. I'm going to say it.
Speaking of not being talented, we got to hear about Kody's most creative dance move that he came up with Christine, which is just stand still and I'll dance around you, which feels like similar instructions that he gives to Robyn on a regular basis.
Is that how they start things off in the evening?
When they're going to plow.
Well, I guess that's as good a place as ever to end, huh?
On that note.
Yeah. That is the tell-all for season 13. You can kind of start to tell that the cracks are there.
Whose cracks? The same old cracks. Same as it ever was.
The cracks in the veneer of the family culture.
Got a good crack.
Turns out Flagstaff did not fix everything.
Turns out when you move somewhere, you bring your own problems with you. What is it? What's that saying?
Wherever you go, there you are.
There you are. That's it. That's the one.
Next episode, there's no description because we're going to be talking about what to expect of season 19. What to expect when you're expecting.
Oh, I hope not.
Another season of Sister Wives.
Oh, that too. Well, that could be a fun way to put a spin on it, I suppose. I don't know what those chapters are.
Thank you for listening. If you want to support us, the best way to do that is by subscribing to the podcast and leaving a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify.
Be sure to chat with us about the episode on our Discord channel by joining our Patreon, patreon.com/survivingpod.
Stay tuned, share with friends. See you next time.
To make switching to the new Boost Mobile risk-free, we're offering a 30-day money-back guarantee.
So why wouldn't you switch from Verizon or T-Mobile?
Because you have nothing to lose. Boost Mobile is offering a 30-day money-back guarantee.
No, I asked why wouldn't you switch from Verizon or T-Mobile?
Oh.
Wouldn't.
Because you love wasting money as a way to punish yourself because your mother never showed you enough love as a child?
Whoa. Easy there.
Yeah.
Applies to online activations. Requires port in and auto pay. Customers activating in stores may be charged non-refundable activation fees.